Welcome to ET with GOTB at Euro 2025, day 14. Let's get into it. I'm Rachel.
I'm Sophie.
And this is Extra Time with Girls on the Ball.
And breathe.
That was
Insane.
a very unpleasant
Bonkers.
watch today. I said this before, I felt nervous about this game for good reason too. My stomach has been in knots all day, and it still is, and I think I might have developed an ulcer or something. I cannot tell you how little I enjoyed that fixture. By the way, in case you're wondering, England won 3-2 against Sweden on penalties. It finished 2-2 after extra time.
I have a feeling this podcast is going to be as chaotic as the game itself.
I don't have a running order. I'm just winging it here. It's 2:15 in the morning.
We've just got some chicken nuggets.
Just got some chicken nuggets. We're having a beer to try and calm ourselves down. Still have more work to do. We have maybe a slightly different opinion on this game, but I think Sweden lost that game rather than England winning it. I think they took their foot off the gas. They'd had a good game plan, took their foot off the gas a little bit and thought they had it won and allowed England back into it. They had opportunities to completely put that game to bed and finish it off. And I can't believe they didn't.
I am, a little bit different. I think Sweden's first half in particular was superb. Their game plan was spot on. They really targeted the left side of England's defence really well.
Jess
Carter had a bit of trouble at the back.
That's a nice way of phrasing it.
I think so they had Aslani pressing very, very high up early on and really energetically. I don't think you always necessarily see that from the Swedes. And it was always going to be, I guess, a question of how long they could keep that up. But in the first half, certainly, that press on the back line, on Jess Carter in particular, allowing, England to turn over the ball, it cut off the passing completely to Walsh. When Walsh did have the ball, Aslani was on top of her. The turnovers were happening. Blackstenius was running through.
It forced the mistake that gave away the goal.
It forced
2 minutes
the errors. Yeah. And I always think when you concede within 2 minutes, you are in that manner as well. Everything goes out the window a little bit.
Well, it does for England.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. For England, I don't mean for Sweden.
They can't even pass a ball once that happens.
And it took them the second goal and then a good, probably 30, 35 minutes to at least get into the half at all. Yes, Lauren Hemp had a shot that hit the bar earlier on, but they were just really, really struggling to build. And I think at halftime they did tweak things. They came out much more positive. They were finding spaces. Kira Walsh was being found in the middle a lot more. They were starting to stretch the play, and Lauren James, when she moved, she came in centrally, she was having quite a good effect. And I think there was that real big chance at the start of the second half where Lauren James broke through the middle. She nutmegged a player, and then it came out to Lucy down the right. Lucy Bronze down the right, and that cross into him, it would have been a beautiful goal.
Oh, that header, yeah. I think what Sweden did really well, apart from obviously getting those 2 goals, was to sustain the pressure on England to not allow them to settle in the game and to find any kind of rhythm. And that changed
after halftime.
It did. I actually think the halftime break was better for England than it was for Sweden.
Because and it allowed them to regroup.
They sustained that pressure throughout the first half, where England just could not, all they needed was to just string a few passes together, get a couple of runs together to try and calm down again, and they just were not afforded that time.
I think, they were...
And I do feel like that's a bit of a theme for England, that when something goes wrong early on, they all just seem to completely lose their shit and can't do simple basics of passing balls to each other.
So, I think it was interesting what was going on in the first half, because we were saying, obviously, Jess Carter got herself into trouble on numerous occasions. They kept hitting that switch ball out to Lucy Bronze through Hannah Hampton, and it was on the money every time. She had the beating in the air of Jonna Anderson. And it was working, and there was space there, and that was probably where England looked most dangerous, I think, in that first half. is when they did stretch the play and they started pulling Sweden around.
I don't think they did it enough.
No, I'm not saying they did it enough, but when they did get it out to her, that's when they looked most dangerous. And we very quickly realised, I think that's why maybe like 20-25 minutes in, Leah Williamson and Jess Carter switched from right back to left back. So Leah became the left back.
Central defence.
Right side of central defence. Sorry, brain fart. Right side of central defence, left side of central defence. So Leah took up the left position, and it was because she could hit those passes, and Jess Carter just doesn't have the passing range to be able to do that, and that's why she was really struggling. Whereas Leah could start hitting, she was threading the eye of the needle to try and hit Alessia Russo. She was getting it out to Hemp down the left, and then she was also switching it to Lucy Bronze down the right, and that did change England's dimensions a little bit in the first half. I think they built on that in the second half.
I think they were lucky that Sweden didn't go in up by more. I thought it was criminal that there were no changes at halftime. I just thought it clearly wasn't working. There needed to be a change. We were all talking in the various WhatsApp groups about a 3 at the back, bring on 2 up front, bring on Michelle Adjumang to make a difference. I could not fathom at 50 minutes, 55 minutes, 60 minutes that substitutes were not warming up. It just blew my mind. Because when it did happen at 70 minutes, when Beth Mead came on, Esme Morgan came on, and who was the third player that came on? Adjumang, of course, came on. They went to a back 3, had 2 up front, and my God, what a difference it made, because suddenly England were causing problems. And I do think at that point, Sweden had maybe thought we have this game won.
And so I think he also brought off Peter Gerhardsson, and I wonder if it was for an injury, I don't know. But he brought off Hannah Lundqvist and put on Smilla Holmberg. And Holmberg is a phenomenal young talent. We saw that in the game against Germany. She has all of the potential to be an absolutely superb talent. But I think bringing her on in that moment, as things were starting to change in England's favour, as they were beginning to get momentum, and then you suddenly expose her to Chloe Kelly and Lauren James at times, and that kind of pace down the left, I think she really got turned in circles at points, and that is where England saw the weakness, I think, and the 2 crosses that came in were from that left side, and that's quite telling.
Yeah, so I think, to be fair, England did improve in the second half, even before they went to the back 3, in that they didn't concede and they didn't look quite so exposed.
They were creating some chances.
Yeah, but I think when they did make that tactical switch, LJ came more centrally. Beth Mead was pretty central at one point.
She was playing more like an 8.
Yeah, God love her.
Rather than a winger.
Michelle Adjumang was superb. That ball in, there was 3 minutes of madness or something where England...
Yeah, 102 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, where initially there was an incredible a ball in. Was it a ball in from Chloe Kelly?
Yeah.
We know what she can do with those balls. Lucy Bronze on the back post. Lucy Bronze is a woman on a mission tonight.
She was superb.
And then Michelle Adjumang.
With Beth Mead getting the nod down in the box.
The
impact was insane.
Build her a statue. I mean, I don't want to blow up, her profile too high. I want, to protect her as a young player and everything else. But my God, she is so mature and wise beyond her years, and she was going straight in that goal and getting the ball out from the back of the net.
She also added that aerial ability where we all know that Sweden have a really, really strong aerial threat. Serena Wigman said it before the game. They're really, really good in the air. And I think it didn't just add it up front, but added it defensively as well. It gave a bit more protection in that back line that were struggling at the time when the ball came in to the box. So I think that really helped. It just made sense to have her profile of striker on the pitch.
So it then, of course, went to extra time. England went back to a back 4. The likes of Chloe Kelly and stuff had obviously come on the pitch towards the latter stage and created those 2 goals. And, I think I thought if they didn't put it to bed in normal time that Sweden would win it. And I think Sweden looked better in extra time. I thought they created more.
Yeah, I think Sweden were better in the extra
time.
So
many corners, and I just thought one of these is going in.
But I think England, how they still managed to have 11 players on the pitch at the end of the game.
Not due to fouls.
No. Due to injury, I don't know. There was one moment, I think was it in extra time?
Yes.
When a cross came in from Sweden, they all went up to get the ball, and 3 English players ended up on the ground. Alex Greenwood had something wrong with his shoulder. They looked to be manipulating it to get her back fit, because Leah Williamson had gone off with an ankle injury.
Yeah.
Then Lucy Bronze was just sat there taping up her own leg. Like,
well,
the
she had
warrior
to
that she
because
is.
the other physio was dealing with the Hannah Hampton
Hampton's-
nosebleed
yeah,
and
yeah.
putting the tampon up her nose. So
So
Lucy
literally the walking wounded. Like,
Lucy was on the ground, the leg up in the air, like, don't worry, lads, I got this myself. I'll take my own leg up. And then there was, of course, that moment where LJ went down. It looked like she was going to have to come off.
it's a bit of a nasty tackle. To be
It wasn't a great tackle, but I did actually think that England wouldn't finish the game with 11 players by the end. So the fact that they managed to, like, Niamh Charles came on
Performed
for
really well.
Leah Williamson. Yeah, she had a pretty good, like, almost goal
Cameo.
line clearance, I think from a Hurtig ball, if I'm right. But I was convinced that Sweden were going to get a goal from a corner. Fully convinced. They've such tall players and they're so good aerially. And we saw that against Poland with 3 headed
But we
goals.
say that, and Alessia Russo had 2 opportunities to win the game.
She did.
On the 90th minute and on the, like, 121st minute. Like,
Yeah.
could have done it there. But no, we had to go through the... I mean, what's a competition without a bit of a penalty shootout?
Well, then you think, okay, now we've the drama of the penalty shootout. Can't get much worse than that. It bloody got worse than that. Like, if you weren't watching it, no one could score a penalty. Like,
it was literally the worst penalty shootout I've probably
from both teams
ever seen live in my life. Both teams were terrible at taking penalties.
I think they must have taken like 8 or 9 penalties, and England won 3-2.
Yeah. So, like, England's penalties, at least they all went on target, but they...
small wins, I suppose.
Some of them were seriously, seriously bad and weak. And, I mean, credit to Falk, I guess, for making some of the saves.
Falk make, 3 saves?
Yeah.
4 saves?
But some of the penalties were dire.
I do think, though, for her to take one of the 5 penalties, Falk, for her to take one of the normal 5 penalties was a crazy decision.
I don't know when you have Jakobsen standing there ready to...
I get it if you've gone through the first 5, right, and you start going, okay, who's up next? For her to take
generally to get a goalkeeper, unless they're a really good striker of the ball, generally they go in the last cohort of penalty takers. I don't understand why in that moment, and it's a question for Peter Gerhardsen and it's a question for Falk as well.
Pretty sure he's asked in Swedish, but sadly I don't speak it.
But like, just that decision making, because she was on a high, she was on momentum, and then, I mean, she didn't even get it on, like, anywhere near the target. She basically sent it into space.
But that could then damage your confidence going up then to try and make further saves.
Like, literally, I mean, it was on the point of almost winning the game for Sweden. Then England get back into it again. Then Clinton gets hers saved, and it looks like Sweden are gonna win it. It's just an absolute topsy-turvy penalty shootout. And my heart breaks for Smilla Holmberg, because to send her up as that in that moment, at that point in time, to take that penalty as a young, talent who is having her first ever major tournament. The pressure on her was unbelievable in that moment. She could not miss that penalty.
Yeah. Although
she sent it over the bar.
It had gotten to the stage where nobody could miss, or no, you know what I mean? It was either like, it just felt like every time England went up, it had to go in.
But I guess that's the difference. So when Lucy Bronze had to score, it's Lucy Bronze, and she has all of it. Yes, she's not necessarily a penalty taker, but she's Lucy Bronze, and she gets through everything through pure, willpower.
There was something seriously hard about her whipping off her leg thing that she'd wrapped around her leg, moments ago in injury time. She's walking up, taking it, being like, "Don't need this on me right now."
No, but like she just, like, she typifies that kind of player, right? And then when you have Chloe Kelly going up, and Chloe Kelly just does this aura about her when she takes penalties.
Confidence.
And, like, the little smirk at the goalkeeper before she's about to take it.
Well, the goalkeeper was taking a feckin' age, that's why.
No, I know, but, like, she did smirk at her. And then the little jump thing that she does before she puts away, and the celebration, that's the difference you have in terms of penalty takers in those moments compared to Holmberg, who is on this time for the first.
Yeah.
And I really hope she's getting the support that she needs, because that's going to be really, really hard.
I do actually really feel for Sweden, because watching them in the first half, I thought this actually could be their moment. Like, I think watching them in the first half, I thought this team could take Italy, and this team has played Spain in a high-stakes game in a semi-final of a World Cup and lost it in extra time. So, like, they know what they need to do, and I kind of thought this could finally be the time.
Then it's sort of... I agree with that, but then the whole game kind of summed up a little bit of Peter Gerhardsen. He's been very, very good for Sweden. He's had a very, very good... He's brought them on a long way in his tenure, and he obviously is leaving after the competition. But I do think they've got this tag of always kind of the bridesmaids, never the bride, and that kind of stuck with them today. I think it's the same in every tournament they've ever had under him.
I did find the narrative around the game really interesting because it was purely created by the media. This whole thing of England are going to underestimate the Swedes. You know, Emma Hayes wrote an article in The Guardian, for example, about the danger is England going to underestimate them because they beat them 4-0 in the last Euros. And I was like, they've played them twice since then, and both times they've drawn, not being able to get the win over Sweden in the last couple of times they've played them. There's no way the team is going to underestimate them. And you weren't getting that kind of vibe from the camp at all. If anything, there was a lot of respect coming out from the press conference, except for that post-match interview with Ella Toon where she was asked about the Swedes directly. And she made a cheeky comment that they should be afraid or something. And I just think that just got taken, especially by Swedish media,
It just got blown up
and
a bit.
run with. And do you know what? I was watching the first half and thinking they've used that narrative really well. Not that they needed to after the kind of last Euros game they played, but like to really G them up and really take it to England. And I thought that was really smart of them because they've used that mentality to really drive them. But then I always feel like if you spend too much of your focus thinking about the other team in the build-up.
I think my other point would be as well is I think they got their game plan spot on, and Aslani did say in pre-match that they got the perfect game plan. They got it spot on in the first half, but that kind of game plan requires an incredible intensity of play for 90 minutes, and that's hard enough for any squad to keep that up for a whole 90 minutes. 45, yes. And I think you could see it in the second half. They were tiring. They had to bring Aslani off. They brought back Stanisov. They'd all done so much running by that point, and they were just kind of flagging. And I think while they had the better of the extra time, they were relying on that aerial threat more than ever to actually cause problems. They weren't actually getting through the lines of England that much.
I actually think that that game plan is all well and good, but it's designed for an England team that are going to challenge you. And I almost think they wouldn't have expected England to be as poor as they were. And like a lot of that is down to the pressure they put on them. But to the point where England were just like couldn't pass friggin' balls to each other. Like that must be it must be a bit of an adjustment when you go in with a game plan where you expect like, oh, we're going to really be challenged here, we're going to really be challenged there. And then suddenly you're like, oh Christ, okay, actually this isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Do you know what I mean?
I think I would give more credit to the Swedes for England's poor performance.
Okay. I mean, I have given them a lot of credit, I think.
No, I'm not saying you're not. I think they caused the problems in the first 5 minutes that we then saw in the rest of the game.
I still don't fully understand how England are through to semi-finals. I was fully convinced for them, like 100 and... God, how long did the penalties take? Until the last penalty that England were going home. The whole time. Just the whole time.
I was sitting with my head in my laptop for much of the extra time. I kept being asked if I was okay by various people around me, and I was like, no, I'm getting way too old for this shit. I can't be dealing with it. I need to retire.
I genuinely think I
hate the sport.
I honest to God think. And then to top it all off, you start getting shit on social media. Yeah, honestly, this tournament has been terrible. It's like massively increased from other teams now as well, who seem to take umbrage at the fact that we want England to win. Like, look at our bio, for Christ's sake. It's really frustrating because there's honestly times where I look at some of this stuff and it's like, why do we do this? Like, genuinely, I don't actually enjoy this sometimes. When you're trying to, especially when it's like a moment or a high. Like both times now, the worst
highs have been
crap we've gotten has been after A, a really, really good dominant win, and B, like the most ridiculous, chaotic game that somehow England managed to, they had like 1 foot out the friggin' door and have somehow managed to drag them. You can't even enjoy that.
And just because I tweeted that England don't know how to give up in knockout football, which is proven.
Doesn't mean other teams don't have that same quality, but apparently that's what it means. If you say anything positive about England, it means everybody else is shit. I mean, bloody hell, we've had comments from Spanish people, in Spanish as well, obviously, who obviously watch our things, understand it, but still leave a comment on it in Spanish saying, oh, it's talking about Spain's weaknesses, oh my God. I'm just like, what the bloody hell do you expect? You are the favourites for this tournament. Everyone's trying to figure out how to beat you. It is normal for media to analyse how teams can be beaten. Like, could you imagine reading an article and open it up there in The Guardian and it just goes, Spain are going to win it, just go home. All right, that was great analysis, thanks so much. Like, honest to God, if you don't like the attention, don't be favourites. You're favourites. People are going to talk about it. They're going to talk about you. They're going to analyse your performance. It's going to be like, how the bloody hell can we beat these guys? and you're literally pulling at, straws, kind of going, maybe this, like, they concede goals, we might at least get a goal against them. That's literally what people are doing, and people just take like such offense to it that they feel the need to drag you. And it's like, I am happy for you to reply and go, no, I think Spain are going to be okay. Like, I reckon they're going to outscore. It's fine. Like, we don't need to worry. Fine. Yeah, grand. I'd love to hear your opinion. But why do people make it personal? What?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thanks.
Rachel rants.
Well, no, it's just annoying because you spent
Raises
most of the
the
evening
issue.
ranting and now you're sat here
No,
silent.
I'm the same.
So it's just quite frustrating because you can't even enjoy the good moments.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to Switzerland and Spain. Speaking of Spain, if we're allowed to, excited to kind of see the Swiss fans and just see them enjoy the moment. I think the pressure's off. I think Spain will win it. But I think it's going to be like an eventful kind of moment in Swiss footballing history for them to have made a quarterfinal. To be playing in Bern, right?
Yep.
In our favourite stadium. Another thing we're not allowed to make jokes about
Leah
anymore.
Volti's home crowd as well.
Yeah, so really nice moment.
I mean, it's her home crowd in general, but it's where she's from.
Huge challenge for the Swiss. I'm sure they'll have been doing their homework. And I also don't think Spain are going to, take it lightly either. They know that they're going to have a very, very partisan crowd against them in the match as well. So I'm sure they'll be fully prepared for that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to not having any skin in the game tomorrow because honestly, I'm not sure my stomach is going to recover. I've had like a pressure headache all day. It's been very stressful. Anyway, hopefully that passes tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more of an enjoyable analysis of the game, and hopefully from a car park. Aren't you lucky? I'll chat to you then.